Hello, 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 hello. Happy New Year. It is, I think they say this is the last day you can say Happy New Year's. Happy New Year. This is Mika, and you're watching Miko and Leap Taken. Here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And I am happy to be sitting here today. I feel really good. I have had the best week. There's not any specific thing that happened. I've just been on a high of feeling good and proud of myself and just feeling good, just feeling really good. So I'm going to start this off with just some good vibes. And it's all coming from within. So it's not some external thing that has happened. It's all just because of me. I feel like my shirt is crooked. That way, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Anyway, so hi. I am doing this witchy review of the previous books from 2022. I actually was looking forward to doing this. And you might be surprised by some of the books that were standouts to me. And when I say standout, I still go back to them, or I kind of linger on them a little bit longer. I haven't put those away. And it took me a while to put them on my bookshelf. And even still, I take them down and relook at them. So that's what this live is going to be about. So we've got 5 books together, all together. Hi, Dylan. Hello. Happy New Year. But yeah, I want to sort of go through these and explain why each one of them sort of stood out to me. I realize now that I did not put links to these books to Amazon, but that's on me. I can circle back to doing that. I'm just noting because I was about to say, oh, you can find them by clicking on the link, but I didn't do that. But don't worry about it. I'm going to start with this one, Ancestral Grimoire. So actually, this is something I came back to as of like recently. Just kind of went back and I wanted to really give it a thorough reading, and I have been. And this book is a really good book. It's a surprisingly good book on using tools like your tarot cards to guide you with communicating with your ancestors. And then she goes in, the author, that is Nancy Hendrickson, this bright young lady right here. She goes into this, the book then goes into how to record that information and what to put in your grimoire. In a way, it's a very interesting take, but I like how she uses the tarot cards with, the whole process. I just received my Amazon package, and it had Eastern Body, Western Mind, and a novel called Stewfoot. I'm excited to read them. Oh, that is interesting. I've never heard. Okay, that sounds interesting. I like that. This, again, when I got the book, I recommended it, and I liked it. But no. This really takes things in a different direction. And using your decks. And I like that she even has a section on here about using, like the section is called the tools. And she references she says, another consideration is the culture or ethnicity depicted in a deck. Remember, we're talking about using these tarot cards, to connect with your ancestors. And she talks about how to do that. She gets really in depth, but in a way that it's approachable, you can understand. And she's saying, does it feel familiar or comfortable to you, right? If you want a deck that reflects your own ethnicity, especially if you're talking about anything to do with ancestral work, yeah, it might matter, right? There are several decks that are specific to different countries. And then she gives a chart, but she breaks it down to just a couple options here. So she's saying, it's difficult to find decks that are 100% on point for a culture unless you're native to that country or culture. For example, there are African tarot decks, but Africa is a continent. People forget that. Not a country. Still, if that's your genetic homeland, you may choose such a deck because you're unlikely to find it specifically Senegalese. And there's some other word here that I don't know how to pronounce. But anyway, But she talks about the Hoodoo Tarot, a deck for root workers, is geared to the practice among early African Americans. And the images are not of a colonial era, era, but instead of how the practice has evolved over time and been handed down through generations. So she goes on, the Dust to Onyx, a melanated tarot deck, comes about as close to capturing African ancestral energies. She says, as a white person, can understand. Each card is a work of art. That's how you do it. Stewfoot is about a woman in 1666, down on her luck, and no one in her town is helping her until an entity is willing to help, and now she wants revenge. Ooh, do I know that? I don't know. Oh, I said Stew, it's Slewfoot. I gotta pull it together. Sorry. But then she actually gives a chart on this sort of stuff, like Europe, Africa, South America, North America, and so forth. And like the decks is like this is why it stands out, like the level of detail without it being too much. I'll get into that because there's a book that that is actually still a standout, but it does do this thing where I feel like it's hitting me over the head with the same material while giving me new information as I read chapter per chapter. But yeah, this is like a thorough book, a thorough study. And then she breaks down about oracle cards and such, and all that sort of stuff. And like I said, the whole time she's telling you, like how to do shadow work. She's giving a really good, concise explanation on certain things. Oh no, my order has substitutes. Hold on. I'm getting a notification here. No, what do I have to substitute? The Ancestral Grimoire is on my list. Yeah, this is definitely a good one. Definitely look into this book. This was definitely a standout for me, for sure. So this is the first one. I would have just kept going on, thank you. But it's really like, it's good. She has some tarot spreads in here as well to get to the root of certain things. Yeah, so definitely this is chock full of information, and I do find myself going back to it. I'm sorry if you hear like dog barking. I do have my window open because I wanted some fresh air. I was burning this just a little bit before I got started, just to cleanse the energy in this room and to sort of right my energy as well. Kind of wanted, I'm feeling pretty good, but I wanted to cleanse the space as well. This is my next one. I can't talk enough about this book, and I don't think I have talked enough about, so this is why we're going to do it now. The Ember Grant, Mythology for a Magical Life, Stories, Rituals, and Reflections to Inspire Your Craft. If you enjoy a good story, especially a classic, this is, you said you love that cup, this one, Dollar Tree. Actually, I picked these up, I think it was like springtime. I love this too. That is some juice, but I top it off with sparkling water because we're trying to, not have too much sugar. I don't have an issue with sugar, but I don't want to have an issue with sugar. That's why I do it that way. So this book, and I've actually outlined some things as I read it. This book really is, the stories were powerful. It's mythology, so you might have read some of the stories that are in here before, but it's, the story of Cupid. I think that's the first one. Yeah. How to use this book. Prime example. Each chapter of this book features a story or stories, followed by commentary about some of the themes that will be explored, and then offers a variety of activities inspired by those themes or motifs. There is some overlap between the themes across chapters, which is to be expected since life is filled with connections. In addition to spells, rituals, affirmations, meditations, and visualizations, there are exercises for reflection, such as journal prompts and other activities to develop your magical skills and to help you rediscover your craft and magical lifestyle. Let me tell you something. This one, first of all, I love a good story. So, mythology in general. I mean, it depends on which myth, which, culture and so forth. But The story of Cupid, I'm pretty sure that's the one it started out with. Try to take a quick look, but yeah, let me tell you, breaking down that story, getting into that. What was? Yeah, dang it! I'm skipping. And it's short. It's not like a lot. Oh, here it is. Where was it? Crystal gazing to improve concentration. They have like all these activities. Oh no, this was the story. No, it started. Yeah, chapter 1. Which one was it? The origin of stories. Anyway, the book. The first story is talking about the origin of stories, and I'm trying to remember where was this at? In a Seneca village. I forget what it was, but there was like this orphan, and it's like the origin of stories. It's this myth about stories, like how stories arose, I should say. And oh my gosh, see, I'm reading it now, getting caught up again. But anyway, the point is, so you read it, and they break, like they said, they break about the themes and the importance of the story. And then I love the activities as it relates to some of the things. Like, it's a thinker. I don't know, it adds depth. And I think a book like this seems simple enough, but this is like a really powerful book because it's what's missing from a lot of people's practice, I think. Adding more depth. And I think there's so many people I notice who they get like right there, right at the edge. And all they got to do is just, take the leap and jump further into their practice, into their spirituality. And I feel like there's just so many people, and at one time myself, just kind of just make a little tent and they set up and they stay right there on that edge. They never completely go over. They get right to the tippy tip and never just dive completely into the experience and completely immerse. And to do so means you don't know where you're going to end up. You don't know where it's going to go. You don't know how the journey's going to be. You might change around. You might switch paths, But this book to me is that piece that makes you go over that edge, take the leap. It allows you to fill in those spaces where I guess for some people they're missing a little bit of culture, and mythology can be that culture, a little bit more substance. I know you were going to mention the myth of Eros. Yes, Cupid. I believe the first myth is the first story ever told. I think the story was a kid finding a storytelling stone or something like that. Yeah, I'm trying because there's several different ones, so I don't want to mix them up. But man, this one, I didn't really know what I was gonna get when I got this book. I wasn't 100% sure. I thought they were gonna talk about like overall mythology in your magical life, but no, the way they broke it down in each section was just so refreshing and so different. Like, so many highlights in this book that I did. So refreshing for me. Anyway, I love the journal prompts. Listen to this one meditation. This is in the Magic of Courage, chapter 8. So, if you were a fire deity, what would you be like? Consider your appearance and characteristics. Where would you reside? What natural environment would you inhabit? Would you be linked to volcanoes, or maybe lightning? Or would you be a hearth deity associated with cooking in the home, perhaps hot springs or the desert? What type of personality would you have? So like, this is part of a larger piece of the meditation for fire element. And I was like, wow. And then there's a section about fire gazing. And the journal prompts are really thought-provoking, and I like that. And there's a bibliography per section, like each chapter. I like that. I like to see where you got this information from. So if I want to read a little bit more, if this is, kind of tugging at something else and I really want to go down that road, she has provided, some information, Ember Grant that is, on how to do a little bit more research. I think the story was, the lightning deity for sure. There you go. I don't know, maybe a hearth fire for me to help. I like that. But yeah, this one is something. It's the stories in each chapter are just stories. They're not, the whole chapter's not the story. So you can see it's not a very large book. It's up to 12, yes, 12 chapters. But it's something, and I like that it gives an activity. You said you really enjoy how the book is set up. Yeah, I like how the book is set up. You can use this. This is something you can read and then do. So this was a standout for that. And also I love the cover art. Look, isn't that pretty? I love it so much. I like the way the light picks up on it. So that was my standout. Now, I'm pretty sure, maybe I did. I don't remember if I talked about this next book. I don't remember. But this was something my cousin and I were working with. Entering Hecate's Garden. I think this is like book 2 by Cindy Brennan. She wrote Keeping Her Keys, also about Hecate. So, fascinating woman. I used to listen to some of her YouTube videos, but like lately I don't know, I get like that. Like I'll come back and I'll watch her old stuff and just sit there and just go through. There's a couple people right now, and I feel like I'm just in a different mindset coming into 2023, and their information that they're sharing, I don't know, it's fascinating to me right now, and I feel like it's fresh again. Maybe I heard it before. I don't, I can tell on YouTube. Some of these videos I've never clicked on, so I don't know. I'm just in that kind of, and it's Mercury's in retrograde, so I'm kind of like reviewing a lot of things, but in a good way, right? Revisiting. Anyway, this is the book that, okay, she's a treat. I think this woman has a wealth of knowledge, the author. She has classes, a whole website. We're in the study of Hecate and all this, Hecate is like considered a dark goddess. I love all this. However, when you're reading, and I've read the book, I've read this book, I would say almost from cover to cover, like it's recipes and concoctions and spells and things like that in between. So I didn't read every little line per line with that, but pretty much, I read the beginning where that's the meat of the book. And everything else is just like a list of different things that you can do. She kept kind of making the same point over and over and over again. And I've read this with other people. I mentioned this my cousin, so I wasn't the only one to notice that. I was like, got it. You said it. I got it. Like, it was almost comical how much she kept reiterating the same point as she was giving you something new. I felt like it could have just been one chapter in the beginning and we would have been done. However, that's her berating her initial point. I get it. Okay, I got past that. But when you get into the rest of the book, yeah, she's a treat. I haven't heard that in a while. Love it. I'm bringing it back. She's a treat. Like, you're a real treat. I say that actually. Yeah, she has some really good stuff in here, like some really kind of almost abstract and out there things that you can do and make and create using plant magic and herbs and things of that nature. Meditations, oils, tonics, decoctions. It's all kind of stuff in here. And then it's like a treasure trove of this very detailed information and how much to use. And like she'll explain about pine. Great time, right? Pine. So she'll explain about pine, the properties, the correspondence, the indications, the formulations, the pharmacia, as she says. And then she'll go into like what you can do with this, but not in a way, but it's such a more, I don't know, I want to say like a grown-up, very mature way of approaching it. So a talisman, like for instance, this is making an Ekdotis talisman, Ekdotis. A talisman is a combination of spirits crafted into a material object spell. In the spell, you'll summon the spirits of bay laurel, cinnamon, and pine into a knot, working to keep by the entrance to your home. The Ekdotis means bestower. And this talisman will certainly manifest many blessings from the goddess. So, you know what I'm saying? And then, what you need, the supplies are green and gold white cord, metal thread, gold, pine branch or other wood or bone, enchanted home object, other charms that represent abundance to you, hole punch, Those are the supplies. And then the ingredients: 3 pine cones, 3 bay leaves, 3 cinnamon sticks. And she tells you what to do. There's like several steps, not too many. And then, yeah. So I was like, plants of Persephone. Like, she goes into that, the properties and like what you can do. Like the way her mind, I don't know, formulates these sort of things. Anyway, I thought it was really different and out there. Like garlic, we'll take garlic. So she explains about garlic. She explains again properties, indications, very safe for all. Most people don't have an issue with garlic. And then she gives you a recipe for garlic jam. And I'm like, oh, okay. The jam makes an excellent offering and can be used to banish unwanted spirits without and within. Served with the goddess cornbread as part of the Hecate's feast. Remember, it's Hecate, so there's a feast. I don't know how much you know about that, but yeah. Anyway, very interesting book. Not what you would necessarily think. I feel like this is a bit advanced, in my opinion. You know, if you're, this is not like you pick this up. I mean, you can pick this up as a beginner, but I would read Keeping Her Keys first and then get this one. And I think there's a third one that she's doing or coming out with. I can't remember. But anyway, this is definitely a good one. The next one, and someone who actually sometimes is on the live here, and she's definitely on A Safe Place for Witches, the Discord channel, recommended this book, The Beauty Witch's Secrets, Recipes and Rituals for the Modern Goddess. Let me tell you something. This book is a treat. Hi, Gina. Hello, I'm taking a read-along course with her right now. With who? Cindy Brannon? Brannon. Yeah, Brannon. Is that who you mean? For Christmas, I got pine nuts and pine needles and olive leaves from Greece. I'm excited to use and work with them. Oh, that sounds nice too. I would be excited as well. If you're talking about Cindy, Brennan, is it Brandon or Brandon? Yeah. I did sign up for her website. And I wasn't over like a year ago. Yes, with her. Thank you. Okay. But I just didn't I didn't go deep. Y'all know you sign up for stuff and you don't follow through. And that was kind of what I did with that, unfortunately. However, my mindset is a little different right now. I don't know. I feel differently. So this is the next one. This one is, first of all, I just like the physical book. I like the pages. I like how colorful and shiny they are. So I'm already pulled in. This book is beautiful, by the way. This is a very beautiful book. And I love the different things and how that she offers and recipes. She talks about beauty witchcraft, which I like. So let me just find something on here. Like, look at this. Look at that imagery. That is absolutely gorgeous. Like this, I don't know. She just makes me, when I read this book, I'm like, yeah, I want all the potions. I'm reading Keeping Her Keys. There you go. We broke that book down in my coven as well and really kind of really got into it. But yeah, that book, it's really, I don't know, you can get so much information. I got a lot of information because I'm working with Hecate to add, to my own practice, to understand and go a little bit deeper. And I think that she definitely goes very deep with her knowledge and her study. And in a way that I'm not normally approaching a goddess. Not, because I'll study from a more educational purposes, but not necessarily because I'm trying to, I'm connected and I'm drawn to her. But for me, Hecate has come to me. She's appeared to me in my dreams. I've already participated in offerings and celebrated her and all that, and she's really worked with me in my life, and I do want to be more vocal about that. That's why I also want to talk about this book here on my channel. She's, it makes sense that I would be drawn to a dark goddess. All these years, it makes complete sense because I don't know, that's me. Oh, that's coming in my cart. This one, yeah. So let me tell you something. Hathor's potion and beauty oil, and it's interesting because that was one of the first goddesses I worked with. But man, this is listen to what the ingredients are: rose hip seed oil, meadow foam oil, one word, avocado oil, vitamin E oil, one vanilla bean, seeds only. This is going to be expensive. 1 teaspoon hibiscus flowers dried, 13 drops frankincense essential oil, 8 drops myrrh essential oil, 8 drops sandalwood essential oil, 8 drops rose attar. I'll have to figure out what that is. 6 drops neroli essential oil, 1 small rough piece of sapphire. Intention: prevent and reduce wrinkles, firm, hydrate, protect, feed, cell turnover. Lunar phase: waxing to full, conjures 3 to 6 month supply. I love this. Keeping her keys is on my maybe list. I don't work with Hecate, but since she's a Greek deity, I'm a bit more inclined to read it. It's thorough. Get that credit card ready. Let me tell you, this is what I'm talking about. And of course, she breaks down. There's more information about like the why and who Hathor is and all that sort of stuff. But like, this is the recipe. This is and then she breaks down vanilla voluptuousness. The sublime aphrodisia of pure vanilla is one of Earth's most sensual pleasures, bearing the legend of impossible love transforming the divine into an orchid to prevent pleasure and happiness to humans. This lusty, flowering vine gifts us with slim, succulent pods that contain hidden riches, tiny black seeds filled with the power of what is known in traditional Chinese medicine as Jing, or the pure essence of life, believed to be found in black-colored foods. Okay. Release their intoxicating scent as well as their beauty and love magic by first slicing the pod lengthwise and carefully scraping the seeds into your potion. First of all, that just sounds wonderful. Like, it's luxurious, and I'm good with that. The female gaze. This is chapter 7. Look at this. This book is everything. Like, it elevates the beauty game for me. You're like, if you're into, the beauty witches secrets, if you want to get more into glamour and all that sort of stuff, glamour magic, beauty magic, if you will, this is the book for you. The ritual of the eyes. She talks about cleansing, anointing, adorn. There's a beauty oil here that she, and some of these ingredients are reused, which is good. Rose hip oil, almond oil, coffee, espresso grind, frankincense oil, sandalwood, pure coffee extract, amber resin, crushed to powder, and 1 small piece of amber. And the intention of this is to brighten, tighten, hydrate, and soothe around the eyes. First of all, that sounds really like a good idea. The caffeine in the coffee is going to be good. Listen, this is good. I like what she's pushing. In case you're wondering, like, where am I going to get all this stuff? I don't know where to get it from. She tells you where to get it from in the back of the book. And I actually went to the websites that she mentioned here in the book. And I mean, some things are pricey. It just depends. Like mountain rose herbs, you need to buy in bulk, right? If you go there, Bulk Apothecary is a good one. I checked them out. Longevity Warehouse, Frontier Co-op, Sun Food, heard of them. Sun Potion, Dragon Herbs, Hybrid Herbs, Nativa's Organics, and Banyan Botanicals. Essential oils, she recommends doTERRA as a resource. Original Swiss aromatics, so just saying. Now for makeup, I don't know any of these brands. Addictive Cosmetics, Thrive Cosmetics, Acti Labs. I guess because they're probably like, it's probably going to cost. I haven't been to those because I haven't been to those. But anyway, so This stands out because I want to make some more of the recipes, and it also gave me some ideas for the my own stuff, kind of like a baseline, like Rich Witch. Listen to this. Rather than waiting for a market crash before working some money magic, why not draw abundance to you all the time? Call upon the Queen of Pentacles as you sip this potion in your ritual bath, as you bring riches near. As always, beautifying plant power is present for supreme confidence and good health, which you will need to enjoy all that cash coming in. So 1 teaspoon pineapple powder, peel of half orange, 2 mint leaves, 1/4 inch piece ginger root peeled, 1 cup spring water, and stevia to taste. I hate stevia, but I will figure that out. Anyway, so the intention is rev circulation, strengthen, boost immunity, increase collagen production. Lunar phase will be waxing when you do this, and conjures 1 serving. So isn't that kind of cool? Healing Plants of Greek Myth is on my wish list. It's a book that talks about plants and Greek myths that are healing properties. And I'm excited to get it whenever I get it. Yeah. A website list. Yes, a website list. There's a bunch of recipes in here that she's providing. Again, the imagery is everything. It really is. This is a beautiful book. And I just sometimes just like reading some of the things in here. Like it's some like that old black magic facial mask and exfoliant. So you need activated charcoal, Moroccan red clay, aloe vera extract. I can get that from right there, my windowsill. Grapeseed oil, lavender essential oil. Some of these things you'd be so shocked. You can, she got them, right? You can find it. But anyway, this is like, I don't know, it's beautiful things to just kind of adorn, take care of your skin. There's a sea spray facial mist. Anyway, that's why it's a standout. It's beautiful to look at. She's beautiful, this woman as well. Elise Marie. Beautiful book. She does, right? She looks familiar. I don't know why, but she looks very familiar. But I absolutely love this book. So that's why it's a standout. Oh, the author's name, I'll say it again. Elise Marie. Elise Marie, right there. Yeah. So there's that one. Then, this is not, and also from my understanding, I think this woman is on YouTube. I said that when I talked about this in a live, but I never did look at her channel or Instagram. I think it's more about Instagram. And then after I said, I realized I actually follow her on Instagram and I like her stuff. So yeah, this is written by Jenny Blonde of the Comfy Cozy Witch. Jenny Blonde. So she is definitely on Instagram. But this fits my practice perfectly, Hearth and Home Witchcraft. However, unlike some books, I feel like she gives it's practical information. I don't think there's anything here mind-blowing for me, but a lot of it is, what's the word I'm looking for? Familiar. In a way, sometimes, okay, I thought she was a different witch. Oh, okay. In a way, dare I say, no, I don't want to say that, but in a way that, you might have comfort books in your spirituality, books that you come back to time and time again. It's not that they're teaching, they're kind of helping you realign or stay focused. Or sometimes you might kind of, need to be reminded, this is in the back of your mind, but you're not recalling it. So it's good to reread them. This type of book to me is kind of cozy. It feels comfy cozy. It feels, I don't know, familiar to me. So I like reading it. I like picking it back up to kind of remember some certain things, to get ideas. Like she's talking about household energy. That's something I'm big on. Just as individual items hold energy, so does our home as a whole. This is the basis of my practice. But she's just talking about like doing just a 5-minute decluttering, how it helps the energy in the house, which will help you ultimately and the people living in the house. Practical things. She even has something called blanket magic. But that's right up my alley, as a cottage witch. So this all makes sense to me. And she doesn't spend a whole lot of time on any subject. It's kind of just a snippet here, a snippet there, but it's concise and it's just enough. So anyway, and there's recipes like for mbok, a honey butter. So, that sort of stuff, which by the way is 8 ounces softened unsalted butter, 1/4 cup of honey, 1 tablespoon powdered sugar, and a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. So there you go. Be careful if your butter is already salted. But yeah, she breaks down the wheel of the year, that sort of stuff. But it's a standout because the closest book that I found just as interesting, but obviously wasn't from this year, was The House Witch. Not The House Witch. It's called, what is it called? The House Witch is the fiction book. I'm trying to remember now. I thought it was The Hearth. Oh, I can't remember. But there's something that kind of lends into the Cottage Witch or Cottage Witchery. But Hearth and Home Witchcraft it's simple. I like it. I don't know. It feels comfy, cozy, like what the author intended. So yeah, this is definitely a standout to me because I like to go back to it. And I like the recipes. Pumpkin chocolate muffins. Kitchen magic is part of Cottage Witchery. Very big part. And then she talks about a fairy garden, being outside, all that sort of stuff, types of altars, that sort of stuff. Again, it's more for me like ideas, even sometimes, honestly, even for the channel. I am completing some work on the website, and just the simple nature of this kind of sparked ideas and set me on the right path sometimes when I got stuck, or if I wanted to start and I was trying to figure out how do I start this subject or how do I introduce this that it cohesively all makes sense. But anyway, good book, very good book to add. There are, of course, many other books that I've read this year or 2022 that I've thoroughly enjoyed. Lots of fiction books for sure, that were really good. The House Witch comes up because I'm reading House Witch 2. I am going to talk about that book, by the way. It's taken me longer to read that, I think because I got sick. And it's not that I can read when I'm sick, but when you're like really sick, I had COVID. I was exhausted and I couldn't breathe and I felt miserable. I just really wanted to close my eyes, and even if I wasn't asleep, I kind of like would drift off every couple of minutes. So reading wasn't as pleasurable because I was unable to really breathe well. So I just slept mostly, and when I wasn't sleeping was, I don't know, I couldn't really concentrate on anything because I was taking so many different medicines to be able to breathe and to stop coughing. So anyway, I haven't finished it yet, but I will be. I'm almost done. It's the book 2 is interesting, but I'll come back to that because I do want to start talking more about fiction books as well. And I'm willing to step out of my comfort zone a little bit and read things I probably wouldn't normally read, but in the witchy realm a little bit. Maybe a little fantasy. I don't like fantasy books very much. But you know what? I'm open. Maybe I haven't enjoyed them in the past. Maybe there's something out there I haven't discovered yet, and I'll love it. So I'm being open to that. We'll see. And again, my I don't know what's up with this barking. It just started. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but it has, I don't know if they just got a dog. This community I live in is very dog friendly. Very dog friendly. We have, the dog park is bigger than the kids park in this community, which I find very interesting, by the way. But anyway, those are all the books. I'll recap. Hearth and Home Witchcraft. The Beauty Witch's Secrets, which is, I just like looking at it. Entering Hecate's Garden, something I actually refer to kind of often for the recipes and things like that. Mythology for Magical Life. I've reread some things already. See, I've highlighted in the book as well certain things because it was just, it's a standout. Things that I just thought, really hit home. And then this little nugget, Ancestral Grimoire. Do not sleep on this book. And it had me just wanting to think very different. First of all, it makes me want to go buy a brand new deck of cards. Not that there are so many cards behind me. I need to, this whole set, I'm pointing in the wrong way, but right behind me, I need to figure that out because I'm outgrowing that space. I haven't quite figured out where, but I have an idea. I took the Yule decorations down, winter solstice and Yule decorations. Notice I didn't say Christmas, down. And I'm now considering maybe taking some things on all the shelving. My place looks empty. When I walk into the living area and dining area, it's like a bit of an echo now because it's not so filled with all this stuff in the tree. So that's interesting. So I have a lot of space on shelves and things like that. And I was like, why don't I put my cards out there? I mean, I could just walk, and go get them if I want to use them in here. So I was thinking I would do that, and that way I could free up some space in here. But this book makes me want to go buy another deck of cards for the sole purpose of using it for these exercises that she provides in this book. It is really interesting, and I highly recommend adding this. This one, these two, all of them, but this one here, depth, substance to your magical life. Slewfoot is the second novel that I bought since last May, roughly, and it's the second novel I've gotten since high school. Oh, wow. You know what? I felt like I was reading more often, and then life got a little bit more hectic in how I managed. I wasn't managing well enough. And then social media, like me, in my downtime, I was realizing I was doing more. Like it began to take up more and more of my time, my downtime. So I wasn't reading my novels at the pace I usually would, because I can read pretty quickly because I've always read. I enjoy reading, and let me tell you, if I get a hold of a good book, I can pull an all-nighter. I will be exhausted. I will be kicking myself. But and it could be on a work night. I don't care. If it's that good, I'm going to read that book all night because I have got to know. The worst is you stayed up all night and you still didn't finish. Like sometimes I'll start reading something and I didn't know, like The House Witch, it was going to be so good. And I was laughing at one point reading that book. Laughed out loud, but I won't say anything. I want to say more about book 2, but I'm going to save that because I do want to review that book. I really want to talk about it. And the reason I want to focus on these types of books, specifically these fiction books, because I like to find things that either kind of feel real or it kind of feels, the House Witch is not, it takes place, excuse me, in a different time, more like medieval time, things like that. But I like the light it puts witches in. It puts, the concept of witchcraft and how this author dreamed it up that still feels kind of like what we understand today, except they have actual powers in the sense that, they can move things with just their minds and thoughts and things like that. I know there are some witches today who will tell you that they can move things with their mind, and maybe they can. I have yet to run across a witch in real life who can really do that. I know people say it, maybe they've done it and they just can't do it on demand. I don't know. I don't want to hold anything against anybody, but I have never witnessed anyone actually doing that. Now, I have witnessed witches who have done things, good or bad, who do some powerful workings, and had results that were obvious. It couldn't be anything other than witchcraft, and they were able to duplicate it. So I have seen stuff like that, but I've never seen anyone move things with their mind. Most of my books I've gotten since graduation have been witchcraft, ancient Greek history, and spirituality. I decided to get back into reading novels because novels help your imagination. And third eye, I agree. Let me tell you, there's a series, and it's part of the women's paranormal genre. she's a oracle. And this woman, I love this. I'm pretty sure I talked about the series here. The main character, she's she's basically, I suppose she's in her 40s or 50s. It's hard to tell. um oh, I missed my substitute for my Walmart order. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Anyway, but she basically, her husband's dead, her kids are grown. I think she's like fifth or like in her late 40s. I can't tell. I don't know if they ever really said the age, but that's not important. It's giving 40s 50s, late 40s 50s. And she's started menopause. Her husband died, so she's like a widow, and she's trying to get through that. This is the opening of the book. And then just when she's trying to get through that, she finds out her husband had been lying to her. He had married a whole other woman in another state. He was a pilot or something. So he could be, she loved being where she was on the East Coast. And that would have a significance on why she needed to be where she was all the time. She had ties to the land as part of her magic. She didn't know that at the time. She didn't realize she was a magical person. But yeah, the husband had another wife. And she would learn this when she filed the insurance claim, the death claim. And yeah, the agent called her and was like, yeah, I'm so sorry, I got to tell you this. The agent knew, he knew. And there were letters that the husband left, but he was a jerk. So she was okay financially, but she had to split this money with this. By the way, the wife had young kids, so the kids she had with her husband were grown. Crazy start. And then, if things are not complicated with grief, she still has these adult children. That's still their dad, and she's still trying to like be respectful of that, but like you almost want to dig him up and kill him. And she expresses that. And on top of that, through another series of just funny events, this ancient piece of jewelry basically fixes itself onto her, becomes a tattoo on her skin. It chose her. It specifically chose her. And she doesn't seem on the outside as someone it would choose. She looks not the type of person who would be the oracle, in modern day. She doesn't give any witchy or mystic vibes at all. But she is, come to find out, the new oracle, and there will be people who will look for her to help. They have to do a ritual to get to her, and you have to be deemed worthy. But her biggest enemies are necromancers. And I love reading this series because she's an older woman. I love a good, story where the young woman, I write to that myself, where the young woman is coming into her own and learning about her powers, or maybe she's always had powers, and, there's this new conflict. But it's paranormal women's fiction is just, it's a treat. It's perfect because there's more depth. These characters have bigger lives. There's big stakes on the line because there's not a whole lot of life ahead of them, so it's like I can't be screwing my whole life up, over this thing because you're telling me I'm a witch now. But yeah, this story takes off. The name of the book is, hold on, you would think I would know that, right? Bear with me a moment, I'll tell you. Let me pull up my Kindle app on my computer that I am on, and I will tell you. I did a live about this, though. It's the fact that I've read like dang near 8 books, and I can't tell you off the top of my head what the name of the book is. I try. Okay, so the author is Lisa Manifold, and it's the Oracle of Winter, and it's Winter Winter series. So that's what it is. Yeah. Let's see. Let me see if I can get the list. I gotta do better with remembering. My daughter said to me, one of her biggest things is someone has said to her, "Oh, what's your favorite author?" And she said she'll just stare like I'm like that too. Don't ask me who my favorite author is. That's not easy for me. I don't know. I like everybody, but it's The Oracle of Winter. Hexes and Hot Flashes, I think, was the first book. And then the next one is Magic and Menopause, Necromancy and Night Sweats, Hoodoo and Hair Loss, Incantations and Insomnia, Witchery and Weight Gain. I love these book titles. But yeah, really fun series. And there's a little bit of love in there too. I won't give it away in case you're interested. But it is a fun series. And one of the things that she does that I do, but it made me really think a little bit more about it. And I don't know, I've kind of changed some things up because of this book. Is that she, so she's accepted she's an oracle and she has a client who needs her help. And she decided to go to a local witchcraft store or metaphysical store or whatever. And so she goes there and she gets some herbs. And there is a grimoire. There's a whole thing. But anyway, she finds out that she can use these herbs. She burns them, figures out how to do that because this is not someone from this type of background. So she figures it out. And just going forward, she talks about how she prepares the herbs, where she keeps them. Like, that's part of the book. And I like that because that's the real part of kind of being a witch. Where do you keep the herbs? And how do you prepare them? And that's the ritual in itself for those of us who practice magic. And I do burn herbs. I'll burn mugwort specifically when I'm looking to have sort of out-of-body experience, when I want to communicate with spirit and I might be feeling a little blocked, or maybe I want to go a little bit deeper and I want it to be more of a longer session. I'll burn mugwort for that. And I usually do have that type of experience. And sometimes I'll drink it as a tea as well. It is bitter. It doesn't taste very well. It's not like a sipping tea. It's more like it's medicinal for what I'm working on. I prefer books with an older main character, so it makes situations more intense. It does. Right, Gina? It feels like there's more at stake. Like, this lady's reputation's at stake. Like, you spend years, people know you. It does matter, because you live in this community and she doesn't live in a huge community. So it matters if people are looking at her like she's a crazy lady, because it affects her friendships and her life. But yeah, it's a really good book. And I think the author, I don't know if she's done with the series. I think I may have read up to it. I don't know. I've got to double check. The way it kind of ended, it seemed like they were done. So I don't know. But I enjoy that series very much. And I'm looking for something else to fill that right now. And I have to finish House Witch 2. And then I'll see. Yeah, more. Yeah, there's a lot more money. I like how it opened up. Like, could you imagine you've been married for years, you've raised children, the children have left the nest. You thought you and your husband, it's already a shock that he died. She didn't, know that was going to happen. And it's not like he had been sick, he died. So there was that. And then to go to get the insurance claim and for the person to tell you, your agent to say, oh yeah, by the way, yeah, I don't know how to tell you this, but he has another wife and you got to split the money with her. You want a book with magic, with a character around your age, but doesn't really have romance in it? Yeah, romance is a big thing. It's gonna be a stick. Yeah, people are gonna want the romance. I will say there's a bit of romance. I don't feel like it takes center stage and it doesn't get too detailed. But there's something there. But it doesn't, and it doesn't come. It's there, but it's not like the main part of the book. I'll just say that. And I like that too, because I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for the magic. I'm looking for some of the action and the things that take place, and her thought process, and how, I'm putting myself in her shoes on, like, how would, so it's one thing to be familiar with witchcraft and things like that, and working with spirit and all that. But if you really had no clue, and then this ancient piece of jewelry, which has its own, is it really an entity? Who is maybe old as earth, as it has chosen you. How do you deal with that? And you have to realize it's not made up. It's real. This is really happening. I mean, like romance, but I just want the action and stuff. I hear you. The character evolves as well. Hi, I'm an Aries. That's funny. The character evolves through the different books as well, and the stakes do get higher because is she gonna tell her children? This is a big thing impacting her life. Is she gonna tell them? Is she gonna tell her best friend? You know, all that sort of stuff. So yeah. But I guess for 2022, that's my favorite fiction series that I read. I'm not going to say anything about this house, which I was going to say something. I'm going to wait because I really want to get in depth about that. And I'll get into why I think it's so, again, important to talk more about that with us modern witches today. But I'm going to end it here. Thank you, Dylan and Gina, for your interaction. I appreciate y'all. Dylan, as always, thank you. And I'm going to go and get on with my day. Happy full moon. The full moon technically was last night, but I'm still feeling the energy of it. I don't know. I feel good. I don't feel... Normally, I feel a little off kilter sometimes, like a little too amped up, but I'm just the right amount. Because I know that about myself, I chose to not really go out too much today. I put in a Walmart order. I missed my substitution deadline, so I don't know what I'm going to get, but I decided to go with a pickup. So I will go outside, but instead of shopping, I'm not going to do that because I don't think I should be around people too much today. I don't know. I'm a little too up there. Oh, thank you. Love your videos, Mika. Have a great day. Thank you, Dylan. Yes, y'all both have a great day. I'm going to go pick up my food and supplies and stuff, and I'm going to celebrate the full moon tonight. All right, bye, y'all.